You need to know your history. You need to know where you come from.
Tucked away in a quiet community near Plant City, where the Spanish moss hangs gently from the trees, and buildings are a reminder of an era long past, the hidden history of Beallsville lives on.
The community is 153 years old, and that it was founded by 12 slaves that were merely newly freed.
The year was 1865. It was the end of the Civil War and the legal end of slavery. And while many slaves were sent out on their own with no aid, a local slaveholder helped her freedmen build a life.
So the slave owner actually gave the land.
And I don't think it was prime land either, but they made well of it. They really did.
On this land, they built homes, a church, the historic Glover School. And today, descendants reap the benefits of the seeds their ancestors sowed into property ownership. A part of the American dream many African Americans have historically been denied.
To own some things when previously everything you had was taken away from you, or when you had to move as a slave. Those individuals who owned it originally had a love to, this is mine. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to pass it on to my descendants. In
Beallsville, most neighbors own their land during a time where black home ownership is only about 40%. A number economists say hasn't changed since 1968, partly due to discrimination. Meet Marianne Dexter Sherman. Her great-great-grandfather, Peter Dexter, was one of the 12 slaves who founded this community.
Even though we were slaves, we managed to keep our history intact.
A history well documented in Beallsville, named after Alfred Beall, the son of one of the 12 slaves. But because records weren't always kept for slaves, history like this is very hard for many African Americans to trace. So it's a history Miss Dexter Sherman doesn't take for granted.
I know who I am.
Today, she still lives on the land her ancestors passed down. Her brother, sister, and their turtle live next door.
You need to know where you came from. You need to research it and know what those people went through so that you could be where you are. It's a basic that I stand on, and I make my children do it, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren.
How has this community been able to survive for so long?
I think it's been able to survive from the desire to retain the history and the struggle that the community had before obtaining the properties as well as maintaining the properties.
Struggle Beallsville was determined to survive.
We had the Ku Klux Klan that did a parade through.
Setting bridges afire in protest of integrated schools.
Well, we had lived out here all our lives and we never had anything like that happen. It was just like, what's your problem?
Were you ever afraid?
No, I never thought about being afraid. We weren't going anywhere.
And you're still here today?
I'm still here.
Still here, still thriving, still honoring the past of this special place called Beallsville, a past that's paved a way for generations to come.